I want to welcome everybody to the Abbey and to your 1-week vacation with Chenrezig. Yeah, so regard the retreat as a vacation, as something that you really enjoy and look forward to, where you can really relax your mind and relax your body and rebalance yourself, and also become friends with yourself. Okay, because when we're doing our meditation practice, it's very important to be friends with ourselves. Yeah, not to be hypercritical, not to do our usual trips. Okay, but by becoming friends with ourselves, then becoming friends with everybody else. Is this working? Is it? Yeah, you can hear. Okay. So I wanted to. This yearly 1-week retreat has been going on for many, many years. It originally was done at Cloud Mountain Retreat Center in the western part of the state, and some of you may have been at the Cloud Mountain retreats that we had in the past for a week. Actually, we started doing them, I don't know, I think I went there first in 1989, so it was, quite a while. And then when we had the Abbey, it became difficult to go there because I would go there, but then the monastics couldn't come with. Yeah, because the retreat center charges, I don't know, $60, $70 a day, and so there's no way we could afford for the monastics to come to my retreat. And so then a few years ago, when we got the ability to house more people here, then we shifted the retreat here so that the monastics could come here. And also we shifted the whole thing so that the retreat is basically done on dana. It's not the $60, $70 a day charge, but you give what you feel comes from your heart. Yeah. So the retreat has evolved over years, but the purpose has always remained the same. Yeah, to really purify our mind, to accumulate merit, to learn the Dharma, to put it into practice, and like I said before, to become friends with ourselves. And by being friends with ourselves, we are able to become friendly to other living beings too. Yeah. When we have a lot of inner turmoil and a lot of self-judgment, then it's very difficult to cultivate compassion for anybody else, because we take that same such self-judgment attitude and put it on everybody else, and that becomes a big problem. When we're able to cut ourselves some slack and have some self-acceptance, and at the same time work on eliminating our bad habits and transforming our negative emotions, then we can have that same kind of acceptance and kind attitude towards other living beings. And that's a big relief, isn't it? Yeah, being able to look at others with eyes of love and compassion sure beats looking at them with eyes of anger and judgment, doesn't it? Okay, so the idea of compassion, His Holiness is very clear about compassion. He says, when you have compassion, you're the chief one who benefits. We usually think, oh no, when somebody has compassion, the object of the compassion benefits. Well, His Holiness Dalai Lama explains, well, you may have compassion and act to benefit somebody, but you don't know if they're going to receive that benefit, because lots of times people block things. I mean, we all know that, don't we? Lots of people love us, but we walk around feeling unloved. We block the affection that others have for us. Yeah. So in the same way, I mean, other people may try and benefit us, but we're like, don't tell me what to do. And so in the same way, we may try and benefit others, and they just kind of, walk the other way. This doesn't happen all the time, thank goodness. Sometimes we listen to others' kindness, sometimes they listen to our kindness. But what His Holiness is getting at is that when we're compassionate towards others, we're not sure of the effect it will have on others, but we are sure of the effect it will have on us. Because when our mind is compassionate, we're more relaxed, we're more accepting, we're more at ease. Our blood pressure goes down, our health improves. Okay? So, compassion is something that we do for ourselves as well as for other living beings. So, in this retreat is a retreat on Chenrezig, who is the Buddha of compassion. So Chenrezig also has wisdom. He has all the realizations of all the other Buddhas, but the chief speciality is compassion. And I was originally thinking, in the teachings for this retreat to teach about emptiness, but that just isn't my mood this time, I was really going to do the emptiness teachings, but right now I'm in the midst of working on a book on compassion with a psychologist from Eastern Washington University, Russell Colts. So I'm working on that manuscript in the break times. So I think there's going to be a carryover effect to the sessions. So I think you're going to wind up hearing more about the method aspect of the path and compassion this retreat. Yeah, I also had the idea, because compassion is or love. When we start with love here, is wanting sentient beings to have happiness and its causes, and so to talk about exactly what happiness is. And I know that they've had many conferences on happiness. A friend of mine organized one, and she was unhappy at the end because she lost so much money for the organization she was trying to raise money for. Yeah, but I had found in a book written by a Theravada monk friend of mine a chapter on happiness, and his writings are very nice because there's some sort of Buddhist encyclopedia. I've never seen it, but they'll take one idea and write a whole article about it. So he does that. So he had the idea of happiness, or what we translate as sukha, which is sometimes translated as, it could be translated as pleasant, pleasantness or pleasant feeling, or bliss. There's a wide range in English of how you translate sukha. We have Sukhavati, the land of great bliss, where, Amitabha's Pure Land, and that's also the name of a knoll and the Abbey property where we sprinkle at the ashes of the deceased. So Sukha has a bunch of different translations in English, and so he wrote about he drew from the Pali Canon, but he wrote about different meanings of sukha, different meanings of happiness, different types of happiness. And so I thought that we would also look into that in the teachings too. Because we're always saying may sentient beings have happiness and its causes, and we're never quite sure what happiness is. There's different kinds of happiness, and we're not very sure about what the causes of happiness are. We usually think the causes of happiness are me getting everything I want. Yeah, but that's not necessarily really the causes of happiness. Yeah, because that's, making our happiness completely dependent on the external world, which we cannot control. Whereas in Buddhism, the true kind of happiness we're generating depends upon the inner state of our mind, which is something we can do something about. Yeah, there's no way we're ever going to make the world be what we want it to be. Yeah, but there is a way to transform our mind and purify it and become the kind of person we want to be. Yeah. So, we'll talk a little bit about karma too, because karma plays, a very important role in the cause of happiness. Because our happiness depends on our actions. And our actions are motivated by our thoughts and our emotions. So we have to look at our actions, we have to look at our thoughts and emotions to understand the causes of happiness. Okay, so that's, I think, what we're going to be doing in the retreat. Of course, it's open to change, as we all know. And I think, having a retreat on Chenrezig fits in very well with the site of the retreat, where we're building Chenrezig Hall. Okay, so we're not only building Chenrezig in our hearts, but we're building a hall dedicated to Chenrezig. Okay, so you'll hear and you'll see and you'll experience some of the building of the hall this week. Yesterday we poured the concrete for the foundation. The guys who are working will be here. I don't know if they'll come tomorrow. Possibly. Yeah. But they will be building the forms for the stem walls and the other parts. And so next week we're likely to have 2 more concrete pours. So if you've never seen a concrete pour, it's really exciting, especially when it's your building, And I see this building as belonging to everybody. It is our building, okay? Because this building is being built so that more people can come to the Abbey and benefit from the Dharma. The building is not being built simply for the Abbey community. If it were just for the Abbey community, there's how many of us? We don't need to go through all this aggravation and build something for the, 12, 15 of us. Yeah, this big building is being built for all of you and for all the people who don't even know about the Dharma yet, but who have the karma to come here and learn the Buddha's teachings and benefit from it. Okay, so Chenrezig Hall belongs to all of us. It's all of our buildings, even though we may not put our hands or our feet, this is not Hollywood Boulevard, when they pour the concrete. I grew up in Southern California, I have to admit it. Yeah, but it's really for all of us, and it's also for all of our future lives. When you think about it, because we want the Abbey to last for centuries and millennia, yeah, and so hopefully in our future lives, then we'll be able to find our way here and continue our study and practice of compassion. And Chenrezig Hall is the big pallets full of gray blocks that you're looking at there. That's Foswal, which is fossilized, recycled pallets. Yeah?
Demineralized.
Yeah, demineralized and fossilized, recycled pallets with a great R value. And I didn't know what R value was a few years ago. It means that it's very good insulation. My vocabulary's really increased. I know what a rough-in is. I know what a stem wall is. You know, I mean, yeah. So, so the building, because the material is designed to last for a very, very long time, much longer than wood frame construction buildings are. So it should be around for many centuries, right? Yeah, centuries it says. So, yeah, plan on coming back. As a human being, make prayers to come back as a human being who has faith in the Dharma, who wants to practice Chenrezig and develop compassion, you know. And then think of it like that, really, you know, because we did something in previous lives to be here at this retreat now, you know. I mean, it's not just accident that we're here. Yeah, it also wasn't predestined. You know, the fact that we're here is dependent on causes and conditions, and we're the ones who created the causes and conditions in our previous lives to be here now and have the opportunity to practice together and to really enrich our mind and transform our mind. Yeah, so the inner causes are from our own karma, our own actions. Yeah, and also inner causes come from the state of our mind when we saw the announcement about the retreat. You know, many people saw the announcement, but not all of them signed up or had any interest. But somehow, you know, because of prayers we had made in the past, the ways we had directed our minds in the past, we had interest in compassion. We had interest in learning about the Buddha of compassion and developing compassionate hearts ourselves. Yeah. So those are internal causes. Then the external causes are, you know, the building, the community, having the Abbey, you know, land and everything like that. Now having food to eat while we're here and transportation to come here, and depends on all those kinds of causes too. Yeah. So you see, the whole thing is a dependent arising event. Yeah. Not predestined, not by accident, but created by causes. And we played a big result in creating the causes for this. You know, we created the internal causes. Many of you helped to create the external causes too. Yeah, this land did not appear out of nowhere. Yeah, I should say, the Abbey didn't come to have this land out of nowhere. It's because people donated money that we were able to purchase it. Yeah, so many of you were involved in the creation of the Abbey, you know, through your donations as well. So, you know, it belongs to all of us, and we're the ones who created the cause for it to come into existence. We're the ones who benefit, but we're also, by creating the cause for the Abbey to exist and creating the cause for the retreat to exist, we're also helping so many other beings encounter the Buddha's teachings. You know? And the Buddha's teachings are so precious. Yeah, I think, you know, maybe all of us are here because we're tired of the media with all the hatred that is spewed. You know, we're tired of confrontational politics. We're tired of confrontational relationships. We're tired of our own judgmental, angry mind. Yeah, we want to be different too. So, you know, we come to a place like this, which thank goodness exists, so that we can transform ourselves, and then through the ripple effect, through the fact that, you know, causes and conditions function to bring results, then by changing ourselves, we begin to change the entire planet. So I think all of us have that kind of motivation in coming here. I don't think people just looked at the advertisement, not the advertisement, the notice, and said, you know, I have no place else to go, might as well go there. Although, I should maybe qualify that, because my first Dharma experience, I was a teacher in the LA City schools, and I wasn't teaching in the summer. I saw a flyer about a meditation course, and I had nothing to do in the summer. Yeah, so I went. But, I went to so in one way it was like, okay, nothing to do. But on the other hand, I could have gone to a swimming retreat, or a folk dance retreat. I was a semi-professional folk dancer. I could have gone to some other kind of retreat for 3 weeks that summer. But I didn't, I was interested. I had no idea what meditation was, but I was interested in it. Who knows why? Yeah. Previous life karma. Yeah, isn't it that way for all of us? Why are we interested in things we're interested in? No, because there's some tendency already. There's some tendency in our mind. Yeah? Where did those tendencies come from? Are they accidents? Did they come from your parents' genes? My parents repeatedly remind me there are no Buddhists in my genealogy. Yeah. I didn't get meditation genes. I didn't get Buddhist genes. It may be the same for you. I don't know. But, yeah. So anyway, we are building Chenrezig Hall, and we are building Chenrezig in our own hearts. Yeah? And that's why we're all here together. So it's very important during the retreat that we really support each other. Yeah? Compassion is not some kind of, theoretical thing. Yeah? It's something that's very practical, very hands-on. And the chief group that we cultivate compassion with at any particular time is the people who we're with. Yeah? Because it's very easy to have compassion for starving children on the other part of the planet. Yeah, that's not too difficult. But to have compassion for your boss, can have compassion for your employees, compassion for your colleagues, yeah, compassion for your neighbors, compassion for your family. No? These kinds of things, compassion with, the people we deal with, on a daily life. Compassion for Wall Street bankers. Compassion for politicians. Compassion for inmates. Yeah. So, to really, compassion is so practical, it's just who's in front of our nose. And it can be quite challenging to have compassion to the people in front of our nose. Yeah? Especially when they aren't doing what we want them to do. And they should do what we want them to do, because we know how everybody should run their lives. Right? Don't you know how everybody else should run their life? Yeah? We have lots of advice for everybody else how they should run their life. This person should do this person should do that person, And they don't cooperate. all these people who we're trying to share our wise advice with don't cooperate. They don't even listen. They say, mind your own business, and they do the opposite. True, isn't it? Yeah. Our sages, perfect advice for the planet. And these ignorant, ridiculous sentient beings who don't follow it. Why should I have compassion for them? Well, I had compassion. I was giving them all this advice. But they throw it out the window and then they turn around and criticize me. So why should I have compassion for them? You know, you don't deserve my compassion. I gave it to you already. You threw it out the window, so forget you. That kind of mind can come quite easily, can't it? Yeah, quite easily. So, you know, how to have compassion. But on the other hand, does compassion mean that every time somebody makes a mistake, we coddle them, we pat them on the back, and say, oh, it's okay. You gambled away all the household's money. It's fine, no problem. We love you. You beat me last night. Oh, it doesn't matter. We're married. I love you. Is that compassion? That's stupidity. Okay? So you know, sometimes compassion involves being really straightforward and kind of tough with people. The behavior looks like that. The inner mind is compassionate. Yeah. Sometimes we're nice to people. Oh, so nice, nice. Let me help you. Let me give you this. You know, but the real motivation is we want them to like us. We don't want them to criticize us. We want approval. Now that's not compassion, isn't it? It may look like compassion. We're being so nice and so generous, but it's not. It's manipulation, actually. Isn't it? I'm saying nice words to you, giving you presents, so that you'll like me. That's manipulation, isn't it? You're looking blank. Yeah, it is, isn't it? But we don't like to think of ourselves as manipulative. That's kind of, you know, who likes to think, I manipulate other people? Ugh. Last thing I want to be is manipulative. But I am. Even though I may look so kind and so compassionate. Yeah, so it really takes, you know, a lot of time and energy to figure out what compassion actually means inside, and not only what it means inside, but what it means to act out of compassion. Yeah, sometimes we have to really take great risk to our own personal happiness to act out of compassion. Yeah, we have to risk other people not liking us, other people disapproving of us, but we do it out of compassion. I mean, parents do that, don't they? How many of you are parents? Yeah, a number of you. So you know, if you know, you love your kid to bits, but you know, your job is not to be your child's friend. Your job is to teach them how to function in the world and give them the skills they need to function in the world. And sometimes that may mean that the children are going to be upset with you, because the immediate reaction is that they don't really understand what your long-term purpose is. So you have to risk that. Yeah? But you risk that with happiness because you know it's for the long-term benefit of the child. Yeah? I mean, every time you discipline a child, that kid's not going to be happy with you. There's so many things that I was unhappy with my parents about when I was a child that now I look back on and like I'm so glad they made me do those things. Yeah, but at the time it was like, yeah, you're mean, so-and-so gets to do it, how come I can't? You know that line? That's one of the first lines we learn as children. Our first speaking words. It's not fair. So-and-so gets to do it. Why not me? Yeah, our first words. Gaga becomes that. Gaga goo-goo becomes, okay. But we know that our parents often had to do things that we found unpleasant in order to get a point across to us. Yeah. Sometimes our parents may not have been so skillful in how they got the point across. That may happen. Sometimes our parents are acting out of their own inner pain. That happens. But basically, they do wish us well. And it's because they took care of us that we're able to function in this world. I mean, somebody taught us manners. Yeah, didn't they? Somebody taught us manners. Manners are quite important. I used to think manners were stupid. But I've subsequently learned manners are very important because I've watched how often people get upset when other people don't have proper manners. For example, saying please and thank you. People get so upset. Instead of please, could you do this? Do that. I mean, we all know how we feel when somebody orders us around, yeah. And that's simply a lack of manners. If we thought about it, it was like, please, could you help me out and do this? Okay, so, anyway, this is the kind of thing we're going to be working with. So I thought that this session, what I would do is lead you in the Chenrezig practice. How many of you have had the 2-day Chenrezig initiation and can do the self-generation? Okay, so some of you. So let me just speak to those people for a moment. So those people, when we have the silent meditation time in the session after this, then feel free to do the self-generation practice. Yeah, the self-generation is in the back of here, and the instructions for the self-generation practice are also in Cultivating a Compassionate Heart, the Yoga Method of Chenrezig, so the book which is available on the bookshelf. For those of you who don't have the permission to do the self-generation means that you imagine yourself as Chenrezig. When we do the practice together as a group, we'll be doing the front generation because not everybody has that. And so we will be imagining Chenrezig, above our head as kind of an extension of our own pure nature and relating to Chenrezig in that way. And the book also, Cultivating a Compassionate Heart, the Yoga Method of Chenrezig, talks a lot about the practice and how to do the Chenrezig practice. So I really recommend that you read it. We have it on the books that are available, in the dining room. Okay. Yeah.
I need the 4 arms. Is different from the 1,000 arms?
Yeah. 4 arms and 1,000 arms are different. Okay. So I'll lead you in the 1,000 arms. And in the second session each day, you'll be leading yourself. For those of you who haven't done the Chenrezig practice before, do the best you can. The practice will be led in the morning and evening, so you'll get used to it. The text is written here, so you can follow it. And it's good for you to get some experience of leading yourself in the practice. I should say, too, that when we visualize Chenrezig, we're not trying to see Chenrezig with our eyes. It's not that you close your eyes and you should see Technicolor just the same way as you would with your eyes open. Yeah. Rather, when we imagine Chenrezig or visualize, we are creating an image in our own mind, a mental image of sorts. Yeah, so don't expect it to be as clear as when you see with your eyes. But as you practice and as you become friends with Chenrezig, the visualization will be much easier to do. It's kind of like, creating a friendship. When you first meet somebody, when I first meet somebody, I never remember their name. Yeah. So the first step is you remember their name. Yeah. Then, you get to know that person and so on, and then you become accustomed to how they look and different habits that they have, and, like this. And so it's a process of creating a relationship. Well, in the same way, when we do the practice here, we're creating a relationship with Chenrezig. Yeah. It's very helpful for you for doing the visualization if in the break times you look at a tanka or a statue of Chenrezig. So there's one tanka of Thousand-Armed Chenrezig there. There is a statue there. It doesn't have all 1,000 arms, but you can fill in the rest that are missing. There is a statue on the on the top of the bookshelf in the dining room. So you can look, and then in that way know what to visualize. Okay. So I won't explain too much about Chenrezig now. I'll do that more as we go through. But I do want to just at least lead you through the meditation now. And in the same way, for learning the long mantra, many of you may not know the long mantra now. You'll know it by the end of the retreat. Okay? We'll say it out loud together a few times. You'll hear it. In the Q&A session, they can go over the mantra with you, and so that you learn it. So, okay. So if you need to wiggle now. This is your wiggle time, and then we're going to meditate. Okay, so come back to your breath. Let your breath be relaxed. Bring your mind here. And then in the space in front of you, visualize the feeling of compassion manifesting in a physical form as Thousand-Armed Chenrezig. So Chenrezig's body is made of light. His expression is completely compassionate. His 1,000 arms are reaching out in all directions to be of benefit and spread compassion to all living beings. So imagine him standing on a lotus, an open lotus flower and a flat moon seat. Body of white light decorated by beautiful jewel ornaments. He has 11 faces, looking out in all directions for sentient beings. So there's 3 faces that are on his shoulders. The center one is white, on his right side green, and on his left side red. Above these is another 3 heads, where the center face is green, the one on his right red, and on his left white. Above those, another row of heads. Center one is red, white one white, and left green. And above those is the wrathful dark blue face of Vajrapani, whose yellow hair is standing erect. And on top of that is the red head of Amitabha Buddha, who is peaceful and smiling. So Chenrezig's first 2 hands are at his heart with the palms together, holding the wish-fulfilling gem, representing his Buddha nature. On his right side, the next hand holds a crystal rosary, reminding us to recite the mantra. The next hand is in the gesture of giving realization. So it's out with the palm outstretched. And from it a rain of nectar falls, curing the hunger and thirst of the hungry ghosts. And the 4th hand holds a Dharma wheel, symbolizing sharing the Dharma teachings with others. On his left, the 2nd hand holds a golden lotus, the purest of flowers, although it's born from the mud. The 3rd hand holds a vase containing the nectar of his compassionate wisdom. The 4th holds a bow and arrow, symbolizing defeat of the 4 negative forces. And then the other 992 hands are in the gesture of giving the highest realizations, outstretched, welcoming sentient beings, with an eye in the palm of each hand. And an antelope skin is draped over his left shoulder, symbolizing that hatred is overcome completely by peaceful, compassionate wisdom. And then imagine that you're surrounded by all living beings, all sentient beings. We're all facing compassion, Chenrezig, together. And so as we recite these different verses, think that we're leading sentient beings in generating the mental states that are described in these verses. I take refuge until I have awakened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By the merit I create by engaging in generosity and the other far-reaching practices, may I attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I have awakened in the the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By the merit I create by engaging in generosity and the other far-reaching practices, may I attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I have awakened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By the merit I create by engaging in generosity and the other far-reaching practices, may I attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were to abide in equanimity, free of bias, attachment, and anger. May they abide in this way. I shall cause them to abide in this way. Guru Deity, please inspire me to be able to do so. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings had happiness and its causes. May they have these. I shall cause them to have these. Guru Deity, please inspire me to be able to do so. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were free from suffering and its causes. May they be free. I shall cause them to be free. Guru Deity, please inspire me to be able to do so. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were never parted from upper rebirth and liberation's excellent bliss. May they never be parted. I shall cause them never to be parted. Guru Deity, please inspire me to be able to do so. Especially for the sake of all mother sentient beings, I must quickly and more quickly in this very life attain the precious state of complete and perfect Buddhahood. Therefore I shall practice the gradual path of Guru Chenrezig Yoga. Reverently I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind, and present clouds of every type of offering, actual and mentally transformed. I confess all my negative actions accumulated since beginning this time, and rejoice in the virtue of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until cyclic existence ends, and turn the wheel of Dharma for sentient beings. I dedicate all the virtues of myself and others to the great awakening. Then we imagine offering the entire universe and everything in it to Chenrezig. This ground anointed with perfume, flowers strewn Mount Meru, four-land sun and moon, imagined as a Buddha land and offered to you. May all beings enjoy this pure land. The objects of attachment, aversion, and ignorance, friends, enemies, and strangers, my body, wealth, and enjoyments, I offer these without any sense of loss. Please inspire me in pleasure and inspire me and others to be free from the three poisonous attitudes. Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niryatayami. O Arya compassionate one, who is the treasure of compassion, I request you, please listen to me. Please guide myself, Mother mothers and fathers in all 6 realms to be freed quickly from the great ocean of samsara. I request that the vast and profound, peerless awakening mind may grow with the tear of your great compassion. Please cleanse all karmas and delusion. Please lead with your hand of compassion me and my greaters to fields of bliss. Please Amitabha and Chenrezig in all my lives be virtuous friends. Show well the deceptive pure path and quickly place us in Buddha state. Just for right now, we're going to skip the 8 verses of thought transformation because we're a little short on time. So now imagine that Chenrezig comes on the top of your head, facing the same direction as you. And visualize Chenrezig on the heads of all the sentient beings who are seated around you. And at each of the Chenrezig's hearts, visualize an open lotus, a flat moon disk, and standing at the center of the moon is the seed syllable Hri, H-R-I, which is the essence of Chenrezig's omniscient mind of wisdom and compassion. And this is surrounded by the letters of the long mantra around the edge of the moon disk, and then inside that are the letters of the 6-syllable mantra. And all of this is made of radiant light. And from the mantra and the Hri, much white light and nectar, representing the nature of Chenrezig's blissful omniscient mind, flow into your body, completely permeating your entire nervous system. So the light and nectar totally purify all disturbing emotions, all negative karmic imprints, all anxiety, fear, guilt, and the light and nectar also purify all diseases and obscurations. So feel completely pure and blissful. So if you suffer from anxiety, imagine what it feels like to be free of that anxiety, because this light and nectar of wisdom and compassion are flowing through you. whatever it is that's disturbing your mind, or if there's sickness in your body, imagine that it's all removed due to this compassionate light and nectar, and feel what that's like to not have that. And then imagine that light and nectar flow from the hearts of the Chenrezig that are on the top of the heads of all the sentient beings around you. And that all the sentient beings, people you know, people you don't know, that all of them are similarly purified. And then while continuing the visualization, we'll also chant the mantra. We'll do the long mantra out loud 3 times. And then we'll do the short mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, very quickly in a silent way. Nama Ratna Trayaya, Nama Varya Jnana Sagara Bharasana Bharatsaya Tathagataya Arhate Samya Sambuddhaya Nama Sarva Tathagate Be Arhate Be Samya Sambuddhe Nama Varya Valokite Sharaya Bodhisattvaya Masattvaya Makaranikaya Tayata Om da 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 Diri diri duru duru ete wate sale sale patale patale kusume kusume wari ele mele sate sala panaya soha namaratna traya ya namavarya gyana sagara beratsana buharatsaya tathagataya arhate samyasa buddhaya namo sarva tathagatebe arhatebe samya sambuddhebe namo arya valokite sharaya bodhisattvaya masattvaya makarnikaya tayata om dada dada diri diri duru duru ete wate sale sale patale kusume vari ele mele sate sala panaya soha nama ratna traya ya nama varya gyana sagara beratsana buharataya tathagataya arhate samya sambuddhaya namo sarva tathagatebe arhatebe samya sambuddhebe namo arya valokite sharaya bodhisattvaya masattvaya makarnikaya tayata om dada dada diri diri duru duru ete wate sale sale patale kusume kusume vari ele mele satetsa apanaya soha. And then do the short mantra very quickly, a silent way. Om mani padme hum, mani padme hum. And to continue the visualization while you do the short mantra. Om mani padme hum. So now develop the very strong intention. Think to yourself, I will live my life in a meaningful way and do all actions with the motivation to attain full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Really think that is the purpose of your life. And because you have such a noble intention, Chenrezig is extremely pleased. He melts into white light, and that white light descends and absorbs into your heart center in the center of your chest. By Chenrezig absorbing into you, your mind becomes the nature of great compassion, loving kindness, and bodhicitta. Your mind becomes the nature of forgiveness. You're no longer holding on to anything from the past. And your body is filled with light, becomes very pure and clear like crystal. So concentrate on this. Then the Chenrezig on the heads of all the sentient beings melt into light and absorb into those sentient beings, blessing and inspiring them so that they too may progress along the stages of the path to full awakening. And then we'll dedicate the merit. By the way, in the dedication verses, wherever it says positive potential, we say merit. And wherever it says enlightenment, we say awakening. Due to this merit, may we soon attain the awakened state of Chenrezig, that we may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their suffering. May the precious Bodhi mind, not yet born, arise and grow. May the born have no decline, but increase forevermore. Due to the merit accumulated by myself and others in the past, present, and future, may anyone who merely sees, hears, remembers, touches, or talks to me be freed in that very instant from all sufferings and abide in happiness forever. In all rebirths, may I and all sentient beings be born in a good family, have clear wisdom and great compassion, be free of pride and devoted to our spiritual masters, and to live in accordance without vows and commitments to our spiritual masters. In whatever guise you appear, O Chenrezig, whatever your retinue, your lifespan in Pure Land, whatever your name most noble and holy, may I and all others attain only these. By the force of these praises and requests made to you, may all disease, poverty, fighting, and quarrels be calmed. May the Dharma and all auspiciousness increase throughout the worlds and directions where I and all others dwell.